Okay, so now we've got the scenes, we've got them named, we've got them structured, we know what the purpose is. So now it's all about the character. And when you choose a point of view, and the point of view is the character that your reader is going to experience the scene through. So they're going to see it, they're going to feel it, they're going to touch it, whatever. All of the senses, their emotions, their actions are from that character's perspective. And that's how your reader will pick up on it. Or sorry, will experience this scene. So you're promising them that. So in modern fiction, the trend really is not to head hop, and head hop means you're doing more than one point of view in a scene. Now, of course you can, and again, I want to stress it's your book and you're the artist here. And what I want to do here is make you aware of it. And so when you do it, or if you do it, you know you're doing it, and you're doing it for a reason that's best for the story you're telling. So with head hopping, it means we're skipping from one person's point of view to another, and it can jar the reader from the story. It can cause confusion. It will make you use extra words, and it can slow the pacing. So if we look at this little picture down here, and we've got this man and he's teaching his class. And let's say his wife left him that morning. So in his thoughts, he's very distracted and he's thinking about that, and he's trying to teach his class. If you jump to somebody in the class who now it's a different point of view, you have to avoid confusion, use extra words to be clear that the thought, the action, you know, if the teacher points, you need to now say it's the teacher pointing. Whereas if it was somebody in the class, if you've gone to their point of view, it's their actions, their senses, and you need to add the extra words to make it clear. It can also reduce suspense in the story if you know what both sides are saying. So if the reader knows, for example, his wife left him because of one of the people in the audience, but he doesn't know it, the suspense will stay there because the reader will know, well, they're in the audience, but they don't know what the audience member is thinking. And so when you do head hop, you want to make sure you're doing it for a reason and be very careful about it. Okay, so your action for a point of view in self-editing is to list the point of view character for each scene. And you want to keep that list going. And when you've done your whole book for every scene, then you want to look at who is your protagonist and do they have the most number of point of view scenes. And if a different character does, you might want to think about maybe that other character is actually the protagonist and it's not the one you thought it was. And that does happen to writers after they do a draft. So, you know, don't be surprised if that happens to you. It's fine. If you just want to relook at your story, and there's two things you can do there. You can either change some of the point of views, or you can write the story from a different protagonist perspective. So here what I'm showing you with this story that I've put in StoryTeller is, so Kaylin is the character who has the most points of view. But what you can also see here is that I have a ton of point of view characters. Well, that's too many. Your book should have 5, no more than 7. There are, of course, examples that work really well. Game of Thrones is a great one of ton of points of view. When you're starting out, you want to be very careful and keep your writing tight for several reasons. And one is that the reader needs time to connect and care about your characters. And if you're writing just a standalone novel, you're not going to have enough time to make that happen. And if the reader doesn't care about your characters, they're not going to read your book. You also want to look at your first scene, and is your point of view, is your protagonist the point of view character for that scene? Now, it's okay if it isn't. Harry Potter's a good example where he's not, but he is mentioned in the scene and it sets up the whole thing. So if you don't have your protagonist as your first point of view character, think about why, and it should be a good reason. Of course, this only applies to multi-point of view stories. If you're writing from one point of view in the I perspective, it's just that one person. And then the other thing, if you are writing multi-point of view, you want to look at the balance. So an unbalanced point of view is when you have the one example of your protagonist doesn't have enough scenes, or too many scenes go by between points of view character and your reader can't remember who they are. Or you have 5 scenes from one character and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scenes from 5 different characters, and then and there's no pattern to it, and the reader starts to get confused about whose story it is. You want to be careful and keep things balanced.